Hello everyone and welcome to our information session about our brand new Youth STEM Changemakers Entrepreneurs for Impact programme. My name's Mhairi, I'm Youth STEM 2030's founder and I'm super excited to be here, and I'm also joined by Helena, if you want to introduce yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Helena. I am the programme officer for the Changemakers programme. I'm also super excited to be here talking about our awesome programme.
And it's, as I say, a brand new programme, so we're here to answer all your questions that you might have about getting involved, about how to apply, who's able to apply, and also to make sure that we give you some top tips for submitting an awesome application. So we're going to take you through everything that you might need to know today, but you will also see that you've got access to a chat, so please do send us the questions that you have in there and we will answer as many of them as we possibly can through the course of this session. And please do keep it nice and friendly in the chat. We always have a lovely community here at Youth STEM 2030, so we're sure that you will equally be a lovely community in this information session. There's no question that is silly or too small, so please don't hesitate to add your questions in there and ask us anything that you might like to know. But we thought we'd get started with a bit of an overview of the Youth STEM Changemakers programme, what it's all about, and what you'd be signing up for. So yeah, we're going to talk you a bit through that, and as I say, please do add any questions as you have them. So overall, Youth STEM Changemakers is a 10-week programme, and you're going to spend it developing a STEM-based solution to a problem that exists in the world. And it'll be an entrepreneurial solution, because this is our Entrepreneurs for Impact programme, but we have a really broad definition of what entrepreneurial looks like. We'll come on a bit later to some examples of what you might work on, but you'll be spending that programme also learning from exceptional people who are already making change in this space, who are creating a more sustainable world through non-profits, businesses, social enterprises, charities, and even beyond that as well, both from in Scotland and right around the world. And you will also do all that with an amazing group of peers. And that's one of the things I think is really special about the programme, is who we bring together and who's in the room, because it'll be a very diverse group of young people that we're bringing together, who all have different interests, all have different backgrounds, but ultimately share this real passion for being able to make change through STEM, and specifically through STEM-based entrepreneurship. So Helena, I don't know if you can talk a bit more about some of the intricacies of the programme, because there's plenty to it.
Yeah, I'm here to talk about the more boring stuff. Just in terms of the time frame, we're going to kick off the programme in January. If you're watching this, you probably know that our applications close the 19th of December. We'll kick off in weekend in January with our launch weekend, which will be basically a weekend for all the people on the programme to come together, collaborate, get to know each other, share ideas. You might go through the programme doing your own project. You might realise that you have something in common with somebody else and you like their ideas, and maybe you want to collaborate with them. It's really going to be an ecosystem for people to get to know each other and learn from each other, and possibly decide to go into a project together. After that, we're going to have a 10-week learning journey. This is all going to be online, which makes it super accessible if you're remote and it's not easy to travel to Glasgow from wherever you are. And also, if you have lots of responsibilities around the programme, you can also just hop online, which makes it also very accessible. But yeah, this is going to be sessions, talks, workshops from, like Mhairi said, a ton of really cool entrepreneurs, innovators, decision makers, researchers, people who have been in similar places to where you are now at the start of an entrepreneurial journey where you want to make change. And they're going to share their skills and their knowledge that they've gained throughout their careers with you, which I think is a really unique and special opportunity to have. And that all ends in March. We're going to have a showcase. There will be an online showcase, first of all, which will be to schools. So you're going to be kind of like role models for other younger people, because they'll watch you, see what you've done, and hopefully this program will keep running, gain traction, and loads of people will want to join. And also then we're going to have an in-person showcase event. And what makes this really exciting is we're going to invite some important people. We're going to invite other entrepreneurs, innovators, people that have money and can invest. And so it's going to be a really good place not to just come together with your peers, but also to come together with people who are already in change-making industries and might want to take your project further. Yeah.
And that's so important, isn't it? Making sure that this is not just 10 weeks of learning, but is actually a catalyst for being able to make that change long term for each of our participants. And I think what you said there about accessibility is super important, Helena, because the programme is completely free for young people to take part in. And we also do have a dedicated budget for accessibility and inclusion. So that means that if you like for your travel costs to the in-person bits, we're able to cover the costs for that. We're also able to cover the costs that might be associated with support for your disability to be able to take part fully and make sure everybody is fully included. We've also got support, for example, to be able to get data packages if getting online is a bit more tricky for you. So making sure that there's no barriers for young people to be able to take part is really important, and it's really thanks to our funders in this programme, the Scottish Ecosystem Fund 2023 to 2024, that we're able to make that possible, to make sure that there's no barriers stopping young people from applying for this programme and getting involved. So we can't really wait to see what you create, and it's all about like seeing the programme of people that we're bringing together, like you say, is so exciting. But I guess people might be wondering now who is able to apply for this programme.
This is the easy bit, because we're looking for people who are resourceful, who are resilient, who are ambitious, and who, most importantly, have a passion for something in their community, a problem that they've identified and they are willing to put work in to solve it. It's maybe a bit daunting to see all of these entrepreneurial projects, and Mhairi's going to take us through some example projects at the moment. But the important thing to remember is that what you're going to hear about, and if you've looked at our website, the examples that you've seen there, they're finished projects, and they all started with somebody just identifying a problem. So it's okay if you don't know what the solution looks like, because that is exactly what this program is for. It's completely fine if you don't know how you would even begin to make an entrepreneurial solution. Again, that's what this program is for. You don't need any kind of entrepreneurial experience. You don't even particularly need STEM experience. You don't have to be a scientist or a techie. As long as you have a passion and a willingness to learn, then you are our perfect candidate. We're looking for people who have learned from the world around them. We know that people have very different experiences of the world and very different opportunities as well. So it's fine if you don't have a lot of experience in things like entrepreneurship, STEM. It's fine if you don't even have a great academic record. We don't care about grades. We don't ask for grades. We just want to know about you. We want to know about your motivations and your passions. And yeah, that's our perfect candidate. And I think Mhairi will tell us about some example projects.
Absolutely, and everybody that's taking part in this programme will be between ages of 16 and 24 and based anywhere in Scotland. And as I said before, we want to make sure in terms of travel and even overnight accommodation, if you are in one of our more remote communities in Scotland or further out from Glasgow, that those things are all taken care of for you so that you can participate fully. So yeah, you can be anywhere and everywhere in Scotland, and we are really keen to make sure that we do have that wide geographic spread of participants as well. But yeah, as Helena said, there's so many different things you could do with that project. And I think even reflecting on my own experiences, like when I set up Youth STEM 2030, I didn't consider myself an entrepreneur at all. You know, we are a social enterprise, but and that's like a business that creates impact, and that's our priority. And that we reinvest any money that we do make back into the mission. That's what makes it different from maybe a traditional business. But I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur. I was just somebody that had a problem that I wanted to solve. And so if you also have a problem that you want to solve, then this is probably for you. But some of the things that you might make through the programme, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, but it's some examples to give you a bit of an idea of the different, how wide this can be. You might create a youth community garden that produces fresh organic food for local initiatives tackling food poverty. So you might build that in your community. You could create a video game to increase awareness about ocean conservation issues. So you'll see there that it's STEM based, because video games have a lot of STEM and tech underlying them, and design as well. It is sustainability focused because it's tackling ocean conservation, and it is also entrepreneurial because that video game is then a thing that can be sold. So you can start to see that it's quite a broad idea. Some of the other ideas that we came up with that you might have could be a cruelty-free cosmetics brand that creates employment opportunities for marginalised communities. So it's not just about the planet, it's also about helping people. And that's a really important thing about sustainability, where, you know, it is in a big part about the planet, but it's not only about the planet, it's also about creating a better world for people to live in as well. You might want to create a cattle feed that reduces the CO2 emissions of farming. Lots of science in doing that, and also lots of business potential there, in a way that is making the world a more sustainable place. So those are just a few of the ideas that we came up with, but really we can't wait to hear about your ideas. And you don't need those ideas to be able to apply yet. You just need the problem that you care about. The ideas will come through the programme, and we'll help facilitate that process of coming up with those ideas, as Helena said, either by yourself or as part of a group within our cohort of people that are taking part in the programme. But yeah, there's lots that you will gain through taking part. So Helena, you can maybe tell us more about those.
Yeah, there is loads that you'll gain. I think the most obvious and the ones that you've probably heard us say the most is you'll learn entrepreneurial skills, and more sort of holistically than that, you'll gain an entrepreneurial mindset. We're really into learning by doing. We believe that by doing something and creating something, that's the best way to learn, because we could give you textbooks, but that's not the way we like to do things. So yeah, we want to learn by doing, and it will be very much, you will have your own idea, and it's a seed that's planted, and you will gain an entrepreneurial mindset through growing that idea. We're going to also allow it to be a space that's good for experimentation. So you can make mistakes in the program, and you can learn from that. And that's the point of learning by doing. We want you to be able to try things out, see what works, and gain, as I've said now probably 3 times, an entrepreneurial mindset. But other than that, it's not just entrepreneurship that we'll be teaching you. We'll be teaching you leadership skills, collaboration skills. We'll be building your confidence, hopefully. And some of you will do this course. Hopefully all of you will do this course and love it, this program. But some people might decide that entrepreneurship isn't for them, and that is completely okay, of course. And if that's you, it's not a waste of time at all, because every skill that you learn will be transferable into whatever career you decide to go into. So it's fantastic for entrepreneurship, but it's also fantastic for whatever you want to do, because it will teach you basic principles that will help you in a lot of life. Also, with this course, you'll be able to apply your talents and create actual meaningful impact, meaningful change in your communities, which is really exciting. I think that's something that a lot of young people really want to do, and a lot of young people don't get the opportunity to do. And that's something we are really passionate about. We want to give you the opportunity to make meaningful, impactful change where you want to make change. Something else you'll gain is joining a fantastic community of young people. Mhairi said earlier, one of the most exciting things is bringing all of the participants together, and having that environment of learning. And I am really excited to meet everyone in the launch weekend, but also see what you come up with. As they say, 30 brains are better than one. I don't know if that's a saying, but when you are in a room with a lot of other people who have similar mindsets to you and think the same and have the same kind of direction of wanting to make the world a better place, then that's when you're going to start really learning from each other and really bouncing ideas off each other. And And it might be that somebody's doing a completely different project, but because you're in a collaborative space where you can talk to each other about your projects, you might get great ideas from them. And you won't just learn from your peers. Of course, as I've said earlier, you will learn from our speakers and our workshop leaders who have been where you are and have been successful. And so it will be like a series of your own personal TED Talks, almost, where you can learn. It's 30 participants maximum, so it will be a wonderful space to ask questions and actually get the most out of the sessions that you possibly can. And yeah, you'll gain a lovely network of people who are on the course, people who are in some way leading, facilitating the course, and at the end in the showcase, you will also have the chance to get a network of other innovators, entrepreneurs, and maybe even investors. If that sounds fun to you, then Mhairi will tell you how you can apply.
I love especially what you said there about Helena, about the fact that everybody will learn so much from each other, as well as the experts that we're bringing into the room. Both are so integral, and that, you know, they're going to become part of this wonderful global community. Over 82 countries are represented by youth in Youth STEM 2030, believe it or not, which still blows my mind that it's such a geographically and in many other ways diverse community. So yeah, it's bigger than Scotland also, in terms of then that community that you're able to join. But in terms of how to apply, we have an application form for you to complete to be able to apply. It's as a Google form, but if you do need it in a different format, don't hesitate to email Helena. Helena's email is on our website, and we can provide it in a different format if that is more accessible to you. But you can complete our Google form by the 19th of December is our deadline at 5 p.m. GMT. So please do make sure that you submit it by that deadline to be able to be considered for the programme. And in the programme, we ask you kind of 4 main questions, you know, in addition to information about yourself, your name, like where in Scotland you're based. We ask you 4 main questions that we're using to decide between applicants. And really importantly, those questions can be answered in whichever format works best for you to communicate. So we don't mind which one you choose. There's no better or worse format. So you might want to write, you might want to use a voice note or a video, you might want to make a poster or some sort of graphic. We've even had songs before and poems. So get as creative as you like. Use whichever format best allows you to communicate your answers to us. But those questions are, and I know that Helena's going to add some top tips for these as well afterwards. But those questions are about the story of you. So that's about what you would like to share with us about your identity, and the things that have helped to shape your perspective. And really this question is like, what makes you you? What has your journey been? And it helps us get to know you a bit better. This isn't really about your achievements. It's more about who you are as a person. Of course, if there are achievements you want to share, you can share them, but it's more about who you are as a human being more than anything else. We're then going to ask you to tell us a bit about a problem that you care about. So here we're looking for you to identify that specific sustainability challenge, that thing that really annoys you, that keeps you up at night, that bothers you, that you're like, oh, the world would be such a better place if this was just fixed. And so we'll ask you to tell us a bit about that. We'll then also ask you to tell us a bit about why you're motivated to be part of this programme and why you're applying, what it is you want to gain, and how that's really going to help you in your journey as a STEM changemaker. And then the last main question is about your superpowers and your kryptonite. So your superpowers, whether that's a skill, a character trait, a value, or an attribute that is something that you're really good at, that is something that you want to bring both to the programme and to your project to make change. And also your kryptonite, so that's like weaknesses or areas of development that you really want to build through the programme. And with those, just be honest, there's no right or wrong answers. And I think that that's probably the overarching advice that I can share for the whole application, is that there's not a right or wrong answer. There's not just one thing that we're looking for. So just give us your honest answers. So those are the 4 questions that will be like scored and used to decide who gets a place in the programme. We do also ask you a couple of questions about a wellbeing check-in to check that you've thought about how this fits in your schedule, because we don't want the programme to, be something that is then an extra thing on a very busy schedule already if you are already doing lots of things, because we want to make sure that it's not going to compromise your well-being or your education or other things that are important to you. So we will ask you to check in with yourself about that, and also to let us know of any accessibility needs that you have. And those questions won't really affect your outcome of your application. Those are more so that we can make sure that things are in place before the programme starts, to make sure everybody does have that full support that we talked about earlier, to make sure that everybody can take part fully in the programme. But yeah, that's a bit of an overview of the application. As I said, by the 19th of December is the deadline for those at 5 p.m. GMT. And if you do encounter any issues with submitting that, then, as I say, Helena's email is on the website, and we will also post it in the chat just now as well. But Helena's going to give you some top tips to make sure that you submit an awesome application to the programme.
Yeah, some top tips. Mhairi covered the most important top tips, which are to be yourself, and there are no wrong answers. This application is different from ones you might have done in the past, where you have to be the most impressive person you can possibly be, but only in terms of what you got in an exam you did in 2018. We don't want to hear about that. We want to hear about you. We want to hear about the things that make you, you. We want to hear about what you're passionate about, and what you're good at, but not in an academic way, unless you want to tell us about things you're good at in an academic way. Both are valid, but we're saying we don't need to hear about how you did at school or how you're doing in college or uni. We just want to hear about you. The boring top tip to cover is, if you do choose to do a non-written application, because you can do it in many formats: posters, presentations, songs, etc. Whatever you want to do. The most important thing to do is make sure that if you upload it to something like YouTube, you do not make the link private, because we will need to view it. Make sure you upload a link, do a little tech run, make sure it works, and make sure that we can view it, because we wouldn't want a great application to fall through the cracks just because we can't see exactly what it is. And if you do have any questions about applications, maybe you do upload a YouTube video and then realize it's the wrong link, and panic, just email me. Again, my email's on the website. We're going to put it in the chat, and it's everywhere. So yeah, just email me and I can help where I can. On to specific questions. So the first question is the story of you. This is just about you. We want to hear about your experiences, your achievements, your aspirations, your ambitions. We want to hear about everything that's made you the person you are currently. So you can tell us about your experiences in your family life, in your community, in school, whatever you think is relevant. And that does bring me to my second top tip. In this one, do keep it relevant. While we do want to hear about you, we don't need to hear where you were born and when you took your first steps, unless that is relevant for the application. But you get the point. We don't need to know exactly when every single life event happened, just the ones that you think have shaped your perspectives. Again, no right or wrong answer, just be yourself. Onto a problem that you care about. This is maybe the most important one. We want to know that you are actually passionate about something. We want to hear about a problem that you're close to. It could be geographically close to, it could be emotionally close to. But yeah, we want to know that you care about a problem and why you care about it. You can take inspiration from the projects that Mhairi has talked about or the ones on our website, but maybe you have something completely different in mind. And just because we haven't mentioned exactly what you think about, that doesn't mean it's bad. And in fact, it makes it even better. So we want to hear about that. Your motivations, again, quite a straightforward one. We just want to hear from you. There's no right or wrong answer. We want to hear about why you're doing this program, and how you think it will help your journey to be a STEM changemaker. The next question is your superpowers and your kryptonite. Again, no big top tips for this one. We just want to know the things that you're good at and the things you're bad at. I would say my top tip for this one is don't say your kryptonite is that you're a perfectionist, because that you're lying. Be honest. We don't mind that there are things that you're bad at, and it's good that you, more so than we want to see you have absolutely nothing that you're bad at all, because that's not something any human does. We want to know that you are aware of the things that you can work on, and maybe they are things that you hope to work on and skills you want to gain through the program. I think that brings me to the end of my top tips. The overarching thing is just, I said it maybe 8 times now, be yourself. We do just want to hear from you, and we want to know why you want to be on the program. And there is no right or wrong way to do the form. And the other top tip is, please don't make your YouTube videos private. That's all.
And that is us coming to the end of our information session. So thank you so much to everybody who has joined us for this information session. And I'm just putting on screen just now Helena's email. As Helena said, if you do have any questions or support that you need to be able to complete your application, please do just send them an email, and we'll be able to get back to you as quickly as possible. And that's the way you can get the quickest reply to any questions or issues that you might have along the way. But hopefully this session has helped you to be able to kind of know what we're looking for, know also what we're maybe not looking for, and decide if this program is for you. But even if you've got the slightest inclination that it might be, we would love to receive your application. Don't count yourself out, I think, is the last closing message that we can probably leave with, because the whole point of this program is that anybody can be an entrepreneur and a change maker. It doesn't matter what background you're from or whether you've had past experience in this before. We're here to help you. It's just about having that passion for solving a problem, and to us that's what it means to be both a change maker and an entrepreneur, and having that determination to being able to solve it. So if that sounds like you, please do apply, and we can't wait to read all of your amazing applications. But otherwise, have a great rest of your day, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.